Hi everybody, my name is Beth Moon, and I just knocked something over, which is not unusual for me. I am going to show you some acrylic pouring, which is great. It's one of my favorite things, new things to do. I've been, a little bit about me, I have been painting and drawing since I was a young child. My mother was an artist. She taught me everything just about I know. And then I went off to college and studied art in college, and I then had responsibilities and had to go to work, a real job. And I worked for Bell South, which is now AT&T, for 31 years, and have been retired for a while. I retired very early and enjoyed everything that I do. And I have a larger family. I have 3 children and 5 grandchildren, and yeah, that's me. I want to show you and eventually teach you of some things that I know about and how you do them. But first, I want to do a pouring for you. This is on an 8x10 canvas. I have no idea what it's going to turn out like. And so here we go. I've used Artist Loft, and this is the Crimson. I like Artist Loft a great deal. So here's this one. I have used, and I'm looking for it as I speak, the black, well, who knows where I put it, the black unicorn spit. Here it is. And this stuff is amazing. It is highly pigmented, so I did not make up as much of the black, but it is great stuff. And I have copper, and the copper is another thing that I really like. This one is copper, and it's Art Deco. I hope you can see that. It's Art Deco, and I've made that up. And last but not least, this is Artist Loft Gold. This is one of my favorite golds I've ever used. It shows up beautifully on canvas, and it's one of my favorites. So I need to get the red, which is here, and I need to put it on my canvas, and that will serve as I'm gonna call it something that most people don't, a sliding medium for paint. You have to have a good paint that has a lot of pigment. Pigment is what causes the paint to be super whatever color. It is different densities and thicknesses, and it is more pigment in paint causes different types of what they call body. But I love paints, I always have, and my favorite has always been acrylics. So with that said, let me get this smoothed out some, and we'll go from here. I also need to tell you a little bit more about me while I'm doing this. I am listed with the Metropolitan Museum of Art and also Biltmore's art. I live in the Deep South. I always have. And I guess you can tell from I've taught, let me say this about that. I've taught all types of art, from just plain old painting to art and digitizing, for machine art, for machine embroidery. I went all over the United States doing that, and here I am. Now then, what I'm going to do, hopefully tonight, if not tonight, then tomorrow, I am going to put a listing of my Etsy work, and not only that, I'm also going to put a listing on Amazon of all of the paints and the fabrics and oh, I love doing this. I can't express to you how much I enjoy this. But you need certain things to start, and you need cups, you need gloves, especially if you've got a manicure, you cannot hardly get black and red off of your hands and down into your everything. So it's very important to have, for me, to have gloves. I love doing this, guys. I think it's awesome, and I think it's something you should learn to do if you don't know how to do it already. I will go into a lot more information later, but right now, let's do this first. So, let's get a paper towel or 2 or 3 and see if I can't get some of this red off. And then we're going to make us a flip cup. Yeah, let's do a flip cup. Yes, I talk a lot. And with that said, you'll learn a lot more from people that actually talk and do, in my opinion, from people who talk and give you their opinions and what they've done than people who do not. So, oops, that just, ugh, yuck. Okay, let's get a clean cut. Now then, I want to say this, I reuse, hopefully, most everything. Okay, I'm going to put red in the bottom of this cup. And then I'm going to put, let's put some gold, because gold is one of my faves. Now then, when you hold it high, it makes the paints mix. I don't really want them to mix, so let's try this. Okay, I've got copper, the copper I mixed earlier, and my mixtures tend to be 1/3 Floetrol, 2/3 paint, and then I stole this idea, and it's a wonderful idea. This is a bottle I bought. I bought it off of Amazon, and again, I'm going to show you where I buy all these things, if not tonight, and then tomorrow. And then I'm going to share with you more of me and more of what I do. I'm putting black in. Black tends to take over, so I use it sparingly. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to repeat some. Here's my red, which I just got on my arm. I am terrible with keeping colors off of me, or paints off of me. See? Can you see that? There it is. Okay, I used red and the gold again, and I'm going to just put them in order. And I'm going to try to pour them down the side more, which keeps them from really making mud. So here we go. Here's the red, the gold, the copper, oops, and my black. I want you to also know, I keep getting this on me, sorry. Well, I forgot I lost my train of thought. That is not unusual with me. You'll understand that the more I go. But here's some more, putting stuff, paint on here. I have some cups, some cups on the bottom that helps hold the canvas up off of the wax paper that I use, and allows me to pour easier. I'm going to do just a ring pour, I think, to start with. I'm not going to flip it. I'm going to do a pour, which is fun. It's one of my favorites. I don't know which one is. I like to be able to squeeze the cup to make a little bit of a spout out of it, and then I'm going to just pour it, and I pour it very slowly, and it's not thin enough, which is okay too. We'll manage. And I hope you can see this. It's got lots of copper in it, and there comes the gold. And there's some more black. I told you the black takes over, and so will white. But I wanted the gold on top of this and the black on top of the red. So here we are. I'm still pouring. And there's reasons. You can see it starts making rings, which I personally love. I already see some sales popping up. I love sales also. And with that said, I also put in my cups, my individual cups, my colored cups is what I call them. I put in the formula I told you, 1/3 Floetrol, 2/3 paint, a tad. And when I say a tad, I'm talking about just like 3 drops of silicone. And I've learned that silicone, I used my finger there as y'all saw. Look in this cup. It is beautiful in there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but believe me, it is. Okay, I'm going to put my pouring cup there. And I'm going to torch this. As soon as I wipe my hands off again and wipe it off my arms, I make the biggest mess. My husband knows that anytime I'm up here, I come down and have to shower because I make the biggest mess in the world. But I love doing it, and I'm not going to stop. So there's that. Here's my torch. This one, I had one that was, it died. I mean, I had not had it hardly any time, and it died. And so I bought this one, and I have a love-hate relationship with this. I bought the head, what I'm going to call the head on my torch, and then you attach it to the butane gases. There it is. And I'm going to torch my painting so far, my paint, maybe. I haven't used it. I don't know if you can hear that. And now, I don't like it on high. And you move this the entire time that you have it on your paint. And what I'm doing is simply popping bubbles. I want my bubbles gone. I don't want them on here, and I don't want to deal with them because they don't make, my painting doesn't look well with them. And you have to move them. So now, let's move this around some. And I think I'm going to move it this way first. And I learned something with watching people. What you do is that you level out, you stretch your sails, and I hope you all can see some of these sails that have formed. You stretch your sails, which I'm doing now, and then you move it all back to the center again. That gives you stretched, bigger sails. I didn't know what I was doing to start with, although like I said, I'm listed with several places for my artwork, but this was just a totally new animal to me. I had no idea what I was doing, and the more I did it, the more I learned. And so let's move this back to the center, right here, or toward the center. And in doing so, I'm going to add a little more red that's a little bit more liquidy. That's a good word. Okay, I'm going to add this red all along this outside. Come on, red. Yeah, I talk to my paints. I talk to my kids. My children are grown, and I talk to I've got 2 dogs now. They're not up here, but I have 2 puppy dogs. One of them is a 14-year-old, 14-year-old Pekingese, and she thinks she owns this house. Everything in it is hers, and she will let you know in a heartbeat. Now then, with all of this going on, I'm going to move it some. Okay? Let's do this and get it all moved around. Let's get this going. And I love doing this. It is very, very relaxing to me. Once you learn what you're doing, it will be to you also. See how much easier the paint itself is moving. Now then, let's move it back to the center. I love this. These colors are stupendous in my opinion. I love, love, love bright colors. I love metallics. Metallics just call my name. They are something that is wonderful to me, and I'll show you in just a moment when this slides some more. about the sides and how they look. I can't talk tonight, I apologize. Once they've slid off the edges, they carry the sails with them off the sides. Now then, let me say something about blank space. Blank space really doesn't bother me, or the space on the sides that doesn't have really any paint other than the paint that you use for the sliding. And that is called blank space. I don't mind it, but it's not my favorite. I always try very hard. Let's see if I can get this back in the center. It's dripping off the edges, and it's dripping on my hand because I can feel it. Well, it's not on my hand, but I want you to see the sides of this painting. Many people don't show the sides, and I think they're phenomenal. I think they're some of the prettiest part. Now then, all I'm doing is just pulling the part that's dripping already off, and I'm putting it on the side here where it needs to slide some more. And see this here? I'm going to put my thumb right there. All of this can be put here, and it can be slidden on this. And it looks marvelous. It really does. There's not any of this that I don't like. There's different ways to do this. I'm going to show you some more. I'm not real sure if I'm going to make another video tonight. This is number one of what I hope to be many, because I love doing this. I started telling y'all, and I don't know if I finished it or not, but I'm going to go back and repeat myself some if I did. My mother was an artist. I can't remember a time, not a single time in my life, where I was not working. I got out of view, I'm sorry. I can't remember a single time in my life where I did not have a pencil or crayons. And then when I was about 6 years old, and I'm going to give a shout out to a local place here that has a festival, and to my knowledge, they were some of the first here in the South. It was the name of it just went away. But it was in Cahaba Heights, which is a very, very, very nice place to live in Birmingham, outside of Birmingham. And I sold my very, very first painting there. My mother let me do, with acrylics, a painting of a turtle. Now, this little turtle, I have no idea where he ended up. But my little turtle went to somebody because I sold him. And I sold him for not a whole lot of money, maybe $4 or $5. But you know what? I was 5 years old, and that was the first time I'd ever sold anything that I had made. So I was thrilled. I want to add to that, I have painted and painted again all my life. But I'm filling in some of this. And then I'm going to try to do something new for y'all. I have painted all my life and loved it. Now then, this is just a plain old skewer. I don't know how you all pronounce it, but that's the way I pronounce it here in the South. Excuse me. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to just very easily run it across the top of my painting, and it makes something that's called here in pouring land, it makes lacing, something called lacing, and it is so pretty. Let's put some more on it. Here's my pouring cup. Let's see if I get, this is gold and red in the bottom of this cup, so let's see if I can't get it down. I have been on the road. I went on the road years ago. Excuse me, I was making jewelry and engraving jewelry. I had bought a little engraving machine, and I was having a blast, but it was very hard work. Not the engraving, but the traveling with all the stuff that needed to be traveled with to do what I was doing. And I loved what I was doing, but it was physically tough for me. And my daughter went with me, and I felt like I wasn't doing her justice by making her do all the work. So she and I decided actually to stop. Now then, this right here, and I think I mentioned it, it's water and Floetrol. It's a 10% Floetrol, and the rest of it is water. It has a top that doesn't want to always work for me. I'm going to put a little of this in here because since this had gotten so thick, and I think I'm just going to swirl it around. And let's get this out of here. I don't want to use that. What am I going to use? Aha! Here's a pipit. I guess that's the way y'all pronounce it also. It is simply a little thing that draws in moisture when you mash it together. So, there you go. So here it goes, and I'm going to put it here on the corner. And it's really thin, and it's watery-like, which is really not good, but I'm going to use it anyway, simply because of what it is. I need some on the corners. I did not put enough thing on the corners. Oops, get off my finger. So here we go. I'm going to try to move this over this way, and you'll see it move. I hope that you can see this. Get down. Go down. Again, I want you all to really try to do some of this. It takes very, very little effort, very little cost, and it's something that I truly love and enjoy sharing with everybody. I want to teach you all what I know. If you don't have a color wheel, I implore you to either look one up online and then print it, or purchase one. I have one that I've purchased. You're going to need some cups. These, the ones I use right now with the 8x10 canvas, are simply 3-ounce cups. They work wonderful. I think this is very pretty, and I'm going to take this to where you can see it. Take my gloves off. Probably shouldn't do this, but I did it. And there it goes. I've got a bag, a garbage bag here by my side. Uh-oh. I'm telling y'all, I am the messiest painter in the world. I really am. I make the biggest mess and enjoy making a big mess. Okay. I don't even know what this really looks like, but I like it. And I want you all to see it. I'm going to bring it down where you can see. I know it has a glare, and I apologize, but you need to see the sails. There's sails all in here. There's sails and sails, and that is really, in my opinion, very, very cool. I hope you could see some of that. I'm going to get better. I have purchased, ooh, I got that all over me again, but I've purchased a better camera. This is just my iPad, and this is my first, this is my first of many, like I said before, and I'll be teaching along with and working on the canvas itself. So I hope you enjoyed this. I love y'all a bushel and a peck.